What's up, fish? This is Quick Query Quiz. Let's get started.
On April 1st, 1854, Augustus Tolton was born. He was the first known African American to become ordained to the Catholic priesthood. On April 2nd, 1984, Coach John Thompson makes history by leading his team to the NCAA victory. On April 2nd, 1989, Junkyard Dog defeats Butch Reed at Clash of the Champions 6 in New Orleans. On April 2nd through the 9th of 2024, Fisk University has their 95th annual Spring Arts Festival. Please note that Fisk University has made history as the first HBCU to have a gymnastics program. This is the first HBCU with an NCAA women's gymnastics team. On April 3, 2020, for www.strat News Global reports, Senegal's President Bassirou Diomaye Faye is the first to have a polygamous relationship. President Bassirou Diomaye Faye is the 5th president of Senegal. He is the first to have two simultaneous First Ladies. On April 3, 1950, Carter Godwin Woodson passed away. He was a great author, journalist, historian, and the founder of the Association for the Study of African American Life and History. On April 4, 1928, Dr. Maya Angelou was born. She was a respected author, civil rights activist, and Pulitzer Prize winner. Some of her famous works include I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings and Gather Together in My Name. In 2021, the United States Mint announced that she would be among the first women depicted on the reverse of the quarter as a part of the American Women Quarters series. The coins were released in January 2022. She is the first black woman to be depicted on a quarter. On April 4, 1968, unfortunately, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. was assassinated. On April 5, 1856, educator Booker T. Farrow Washington was born. On April 6, 1909, explorer Matthew Henson reached the North Pole. On April 7, 1940, the United States released the 10-cent Booker T. Washington stamp as part of the 1940 Famous Americans issue. On April 8, 1974, Henry Hackhammer Aaron sets and breaks the record by hitting his 715th career home run. On April 8, 2024, www.livenationentertainment.com reports that Missy Elliott's first-ever headline tour, Out of This World, pre-sales begin April 9. General on sale starts April 12. Missy Elliott is the first female MC inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. On April 9, 1866, Congress overrides the president to veto and passed the Civil Rights Act. This act declares that all persons born in the United States were citizens with full rights under the Constitution. On April 10th, Dickie Giovanni and James Baldwin had their second conversation on the TV show Soul, and it aired in 1969. On April 10, 2024, O.J. Simpson passes away. He was the first player to rush for more than 2,000 yards in an NFL season. April 11, 2024, the legendary hip-hop DJ Mr. C passes away. He helped launch the careers of several artists as well as influence the entire hip-hop genre. On April 10, 1833, Ira Frederick Aldrich was a playwright, actor, theater manager, and the first African American to act in William Shakespeare's play as Othello. On April 11, 1881, Spelman College opens. This historically black university was established for women and was founded as Atlanta Baptist Female Seminary. On April 12th, the legendary Herbie Hancock is born. April 12th, 1861, the first shots ring out to begin the Civil War. The Confederate soldiers fired first at Fort Sumter on South Carolina's Charleston Harbor. On April 13, 1854, the Honorable Lucy Craft Laney was born. She was a principal for over 50 years and founded the first school for black children in Augusta, Georgia, 1883. On April 14th, Deb Bratt was born. She was the first female rap artist to go platinum with the release of Funkdafied. On April 14, 1775, the Pennsylvania Society for the Abolition of Slavery organized. This society was the first abolitionist society in the United States that actively fought against slavery. On April 15, 1960, the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee formed. This committee fought against segregation and other forms of racism. On April 15, 1990, In Living Color first episode airs. On April 15, 2020, Garcelle Bouvet joins the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and is the first black woman on the cast. On April 16, 1862, the District of Columbia compensated the Emancipation Act became law. The act freed slaves in the District of Columbia and compensated owners up to $300 for each free person. On April 17, 1983, the incredible Alice Walker wins the Pulitzer Prize for The Color Purple. On April 18, 2024, New York Times remembers Rico Wade as an architect of Southern hip-hop. Rico Wade produced albums for Outkast, Goody Mob, Future, and many more. He passed away on Saturday, but his impact and presence will live on. On April 18, 1966, Bill Russell becomes the first African-American coach in the NBA. He played center for the Boston Celtics from 1956 to 1969. April 19, 1775, the battles of Lexington and Concord were the shot heard around the world. British and African-American Minutemen exchange fire in the Massachusetts towns of Lexington and Concord. April 20, 1971, the Supreme Court unanimously ruled in the Swan v. Charlotte-Mecklenburg Board of Education, busing of students could be ordered to achieve racial desegregation or racial integration. On April 21, 1966, Private First Class Milton L. Olive III was the first African-American recipient of the Medal of Honor from the Vietnam War posthumously. On April 22, 2004, Charles Luther Sifford becomes the first African-American elected to the World Golf Hall of Fame. He was also the first African-American professional golfer to play on the PGA Tour. On April 22, 1974, Claudine the movie is released. Claudine is a single mother who works as a maid for wealthy families. One day she meets a trash collector who changes her world and shifts his perspective on life. This movie stars Diane Carroll, James Earl Jones, Lawrence Hilton Jacobs, Tamu Blackwell, David Kruger, Yvette Curtis, Eric Jones, Socorro Stevens, and many more. On April 23, 2020, Corinne Jean-Pierre appear on the Sherri Shepherd show stating that she is the first black and openly queer White House press secretary. On April 23, 1856, Granville Taylor Woods was born. He was the first African-American mechanical and electrical engineer after the Civil War. He was a creative and inventor who held more than 50 patented ideas. He was the first African-American mechanical and electrical engineer after the Civil War, self-taught. On April 23, 1971, Melvin Van Peebles has the theatrical release of Sweet Sweetback's Badass Song. On April 24, 2020, LA Times reports that actor and producer Terry Carter passed away. He was known for starring in Foxy Brown, but was also the first black TV anchor newscaster in Boston, Massachusetts. On April 24, 1944, the United Negro College Fund becomes incorporated. On April 25, 1917, Ella Fitzgerald was born. She was the first African-American woman to win a Grammy. On April 26, 1886, Ma Rainey is born. On April 26, 1892, Sarah Boone receives her patent for an ironing board. On April 27, 1927, Coretta Scott King is born. On April 28, 1971, Samuel Lee bravely becomes the first African-American admiral in the United States Navy. On April 28, 2019, A Love Song for Latasha is released on Netflix. On April 29, 1899, Edward Kennedy Duke Ellington was born. He was a pianist, musical conductor, and songwriter. On April 30, 1983, Robert C. Maynard buys the Oakland Tribune.